Well, hi there and welcome along to another edition of What's the Word, our final one before the Cheltenham Festival, so we are counting down well and truly. Joining me this week, got James Mordaunt from Ladbrokes. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to it now.
Late
late. It was a late substitution.
Hopefully
a bit of a wonder stroke.
Good to have you here though. Dukey?
Good form, thanks Tom, yourself?
Back in the chair, you well?
Excited? Oh yeah, I'm delighted to be here. We're all very excited, of course. Yeah.
Good stuff. And Johnny Ward as well?
He's not going this year though.
Not
Dukey.
going.
Yeah.
I know.
It won't be the same without you.
Ah, that's very kind.
Yeah.
There'll be 70,000 other people there. they won't
yeah, but no Brendan Duke, crucially.
Thanks, lads.
Any sort of rituals you have in the build-up to the festival, Johnny? What about you? When are you flying out?
I'm actually going to Liverpool game Sunday, so I'm going to Cheltenham then on. Gee, I only realised how expensive railway tickets are in Britain.
In the UK, yeah.
The cheapest ticket was like 50 quid from Cheltenham to Liverpool. It's a 2.5 hour journey.
You want to be back in some winners next week?
Yeah, so anyway, get there on the Monday and take from there. Just try to be fresh for the first couple of days, the long week.
Yeah. Dukey, any rituals you have in the build-up to Cheltenham?
Well, I'm just reminded of my occasional trips to England. I mean, they should be wearing balaclavas. Like some of them, they charge you 50 quid for the ticket and then they charge you for the Wi-Fi. I mean, really?
The Wi-Fi charging is a disgrace.
That's it. But any rituals? I was thinking about this. I'm not really ritualistic generally, but I do always go to that Naas meeting on the Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the vibe around that.
Yeah.
Some people will be going, some people will be staying, but everyone will be talking around Cheltenham. And it's the right card this year.
Looking forward to that. We'll chat about it later. And yourself, James, you go through your anti-post dockets and follow them weekly?
I tend to have a look at the handicaps over the weekend and then hopefully try find one at a big price that might just be thrown in at a lightweight, and I'll let you know on Twitter on Sunday if I find something.
Good stuff. It's a cracking week, as always. Race you're most looking forward to, Johnny?
It's actually the Gold Cup, which I say that with an element of surprise. It's not normally the race that floats my boat. I'm much bigger champion hurdle fan, but this Gold Cup has everything. You can make a case for a dozen horses in it, I think, and not be called to be sectioned. And I think Presenting Percy could well do the job. But it's going to be a hell of a spectacle.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Dukey? What's your race you're most looking forward to?
I think the champion hurdle. The champion is looking to three-peat.
Yeah.
And then you have two formidable mares standing in his way. And a few dangerous floaters, like a Sharjah or what have you. I think it's a really, really interesting race, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good stuff. James, what race are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, a bit left field here, but it's the Pertemps for me. I do have to say I do like a good handicap race.
The Pertemps?
The Pertemps final, yeah.
Okay.
And I just think I might have found the key to it. So
you
that's
found the key. Well, you may as well tell us the winner while you're at it.
I tipped them up on this show before, back in January. Not what I am for the Skeletons. I think they do tend to win a big handicap every year at the festival, and I think this is the winner this year.
Will you watch the other race or just...
No, he just tunes in for the Pertemps. He doesn't watch it at all.
Yeah. Back to
sits there, streams it on his
phone. Ireland
phone.
AM then and enjoy it.
Back to the all weather and looking forward to Dundalk on Friday. Yeah, cracker. Quality. Right, let's move. Speaking of big handicaps, let's move on to the Imperial Cup. Of course, pretty much synonymous with the pipes and that, and a horse in here that probably looks like it's almost out of the weights next week and can come win here, get a penalty at least, and potentially come in. What's standing out for you, Johnny?
I like Call Me Lord. He's a really, really good record at Sandown. It's interesting to be tipping a horse in this that obviously tried 3 miles plus the last day when he was disappointing. But he's quite a keen going horse with plenty of ability. Still quite lightly raced. Nicky Henderson, I imagine, will be champion trainer next week. He's top weight, but you're just crying out for a strong gallop in this race. He is the class act in the race. He's a proper horse, and he should be staying on. His Sandown record is 3 wins in a second. I'd ignore he's won the last day. I wouldn't mind that at all. The other horse, obviously, that's of interest is much more down towards the foot of the weights, and that's Monsieur Lecoq, who, again, very, very likely racehorse, only 5 years of age, has shot up the weights, bolted up here the last day. It looked like he was going to win basically from the get-go. He's shot up to, what is he? He was 134 now. Chester Williams, a good rider.
Question about whether he can actually do 9.7 though, but I think 9.12 might have been his lowest in the last year.
That is a fair point. He might have to, I suppose, be fasting a bit this week. That won't be a worry for Darryl Jacob at the top of the weights anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Dukey? Who do you like in the Imperial Cup?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, we're borderline heavy ground here, so this throws a bit of a...
After months of giving a quick ground, 1 week of rain, ground's too slap.
They called it heavy in places in Leopardstown on Monday. I can't believe that. I can't. It was good to firm the day before. They had a bit of snow. It hasn't rained for 8 months, and now it's heavy. I don't believe it.
The times were very slow, though, in fairness.
Maybe it's tacky. Anyway.
Well, possibly. But this first flow hasn't run since he was kind of semi-fancied for the Supreme last year when the ground came up soft, because deep ground is the key to him. Novice form that would suggest a mark of 144 isn't insurmountable, and he is relatively lightly raced. The deep ground is what he wants. Whether they've been waiting for deep ground, I don't know. Whether he's had physical issues, but he gets what he wants at the weekend. The boy Bailey has them in really good form. Around 8-1, I thought he was fair price.
He's bringing back horses from the dead as well. Horses who were ruled out of races.
I know, and I'd only ruled out a couple of days ago. So he obviously saw something in the schooling. But anyway,
maybe he had a glass of Baileys, but in any event, things are looking up.
What about you, James? Anything for you in the Imperial Cup?
Yeah, I like the looks of Malaya here, around about 5-1 at the moment for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. They're in really, really good form, and the market's been strong about this over the last couple of days. So I just think Malaya could run a big race for the informed team, Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden.
If it does get proper heavy ground now, I wouldn't be surprised if Call Me Lord went off favourite, just because he's dour stamina over 2 miles, and as you say, the 16 runners are just praying for the 16 runners.
Absolutely.
Nothing will put you in worse form than a 16 runner handicap becoming a 15. The difference is absolutely colossal in each way.
Enormous. Right, go on, down along the line. Imperial Cup, quick selections. We're going to end up with 4 out of 4. Go on.
I'm going to go with Malaya.
first flow.
First flow,
Call
Johnny.
Me Lord.
Call Me Lord, and I'm going to go with Extra Mag for the pipes. Right, elsewhere on the Sandown card, you start with you in the 3 o'clock one you like here.
Yes, the Mayor's Listed bumper sees a rematch between Silver Forever and Mystic Dreamer, who fought out a very close finish in Ascot a couple of weeks ago. Silver Forever came out on top that day and is £4 better off tomorrow. But it was Mystic Dreamer's first career start, and I thought she ran a hell of a race. She was green throughout, and she probably just got worried out of it at the end. Yeah. Now, I think they'll fight out the finish of this race, because Silver Forever is by Jeremy, and Mystic Dreamer is by Flemonsforth out of a Turtle Island mare. So these are pedigrees that just scream deep ground. So I think they'll fight it out, and it's reasonable to see Silver Forever confirming the form on the terms, but Mystic Dreamer is going to be about 5 or 6 to 1.
Yeah, bit of a price.
She's knocking each way bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cannot see her out of the straight.
Yeah, elsewhere at Sandown on Saturday as well, you're with another one a little later on. The 4:45, the closing race. Might be shorter price perhaps.
Yes, I think I think he will be, although there is a horse that's David Jennings certainly still has hopes for against him. But this, the King's Rid, is a horse going places. He should have been on a hat-trick the last day in Cheltenham. He had a misfortune in Exeter. But he ran very well in the hot novice handicap at Cheltenham. And Cheltenham probably, the ground and the track probably aren't his thing. He's a pretty dour stayer, and I think he prefers a flat track. There's only 5 runners here tomorrow. He's only going to be about 6 to 4 or something like that, but I thought he'd win. Yeah,
but a winner though.
A winner.
And of course, could be a big boon for Kaylee Woolacott ahead of Lawler on Tuesday. I mean, that would bring the house down, wouldn't it?
I think if all trainers, you'd wish a winner next week. It's Kaylee Woolacott, and she's been so, I suppose, stoic and defiant in the sense of the tragedy that has befallen her, and the British get quite soppy about women in racing. Obviously, Amy Murphy, Bryony, and so on, and Lizzie Kelly. But I think we'll all maybe get a bit emotional.
Yeah, I think we might
and
just turn off the
well.
Yeah, absolutely, cracking chance, especially with the rain. Right, let's move on to.
I have one actually.
You have one on.
I have one. This is boring.
Gowran.
This is very boring.
305.
But from Eden, I put up a horse in this race at Navan on Saturday. Very frustrating. So I backed him and I laid for Eden. So he was stuffed each way, and for Eden won. Despite the fact he didn't really look like winning much of the race. He only got £7 for that. It was his first start for Gordon Elliott. He was ridiculously put in at 8-10 to 1 the day before. Went off 5 to 4, and I think he'll follow up. I think Gordon will just get him to improve a little bit in the 305, and he just looks like a horse that's still very well handicapped.
Good stuff. Let's move on to the Naas card on Sunday. Then the Leinster National is the feature there at 10 to 5. You've had a little look at this. What do you make?
This is a horrible race, to be quite honest.
It's very tricky.
Yeah, and I think there are 15 runners as well, which makes it very, very unappealing. Like the likes of Pear Brown Eyes, he's a horse that I thought he'd win a good handicap. I remember him falling in the Irish National, but I don't know if the ground has just gone completely wrong from this year. I don't think it's going to be soft enough on Sunday either. Wishmore is probably the one. Now, if he could back up, he was very, very gutsy that race at Punchestown when he was behind Doonikos. But he rallied, he was a biggish price, he rallied to get second in a 1-2-3 for the Jiggy operation. On that form, I think he's a reasonable chance. Rachel Blackmore, we're still kind of humming and hawing. Will she get the ride on the likes of
Monley, Chris's Dream,
Monley.
Well, she probably rides Sonoria.
Obviously, Honeysuckle has been ruled out now. A horse she's been
She could have a very good book of rides.
She could. Monley's the big one because that'd be a hell of a race for her to ride in. But anyway, she rides Wishmore, 10 stone 1 and 10th of selection. But there are definitely better bets on the card.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, anything for you in the Leinster National, Cheeky?
Yeah, I was.
Is it the kind of race that really?
No, I thought it was. I thought it was very difficult, but just this Wishmore because the previous time I was on this, David Jennings put him up at a massive price for that race in Punchestown, and it was interesting watching the race because he said he's issues with jumping. He jumped brilliant, and he did get interfered with, and I was trying to. It's very hard to tell with the Irish camera angles, but I'm fairly sure he was a lot further clear before the interference than he was after. So I think it was fairly significant, albeit it happened a long way out. As Johnny said, he really toughed it out to finish second. He's £6 worse off with Dunicost, but I mean, Dunicost backing up, whatever about Wishmore backing up. It is a tricky race. The most interesting thing is the tactical element, because the only competition for the lead is the Vieux Moran, who is a stablemate. So you'd imagine Joseph will say, now look lads, we're not going to cut each other's throats here. So Wishmore seemed to enjoy being on the bunny the last day, jumped well. I fancy him to jump out in front and be hard enough to pass.
Yeah, what about you, James? Anything in the Leinster National?
I do like two at bigger prices here in this. One of them is Monbeg Notorious, given if the rain continues to come and the ground gets a bit softer, I think Monbeg Notorious could take a lot of stopping in this. And one that is a winner already at this course for me, for Jonathan Moore and Noel Meade as well. I do like the chances of Killer Miller in that at about 20-1.
Yeah, and she can see how he goes against Stablemate. The name escapes me as well in that one. Right, elsewhere on the Naas card, I mean, it's a good card on Saturday. 3:45 is a grade 3. You like the look of one here, Johnny?
The 3:45 this is a crack of a race. You know, we've at least all of these could have run at Cheltenham really in some shape or form. Kaiser Black, right? So he's trained by Pat Doyle, who obviously would have bugger all horses for the track, but
incredible in the point-to-point sphere. I mean, just in case people are not.
Absolutely, he would have trained the likes
did a lot of pre-training for Jigginstown and a lot of point-to-point work for Jigginstown and that. And Jamie, the best of the point-to-pointers Jigginstown would have, he tended to have them really. Yeah,
and Germany's the sire of this horse, who obviously is the sire of Faugheen and Sam Crow, and didn't have near enough chance to show what he could be as a stallion, basically in Ireland. It was just the way it worked out. So this horse went into the race in Leopardstown rated 147, right? Which you'd be kind of saying, well, I'm not sure he's worth that because he's kind of coming off a summer campaign. But he rocks up in Leopardstown on ground that's quicker than he'd actually get in the summer, effectively. Now, was he flattered by that run? I don't think he was. I think he nearly looked like he was going to win at one stage. I think they went a decent gallop, but if you're talking about a mare going off a good gallop for him to sit off, it's going to be the exact same thing here with Camellia de Cotte. I'm still a little bit wary of how good she is because I thought they kind of fell into a hole behind her in third. It was an extraordinary performance visually. I'm just not sure she really beat anything. The horses in behind have essentially done nothing. Most of them since that run. She was easy enough to back in the betting that day, albeit Willie's horse were a bit in and out at the time. All told, I think Kaiser Black is a good thing here. If the more I looked at it, he's unexposed. He's probably just not gotten the credit he deserves because he was a summer horse before he came back at Leopardstown.
Jiggy, do you have this down as a bang match as well? Or are you coming down with Kaiser Black or Camellia de Cotte, or is there something else here?
I'm leaning toward, it'll be very interesting to see what the betting is. I feel like Kaiser has to go off just fab. He's so favoured by the conditions. And I mean, if you take that form of Leopardstown literally, he is bang there with the best novice chasers in training.
Yeah, but
you have Hardline, who was flat out to finish third.
The wise guy horse for the Arkle.
But as I'm saying, we're in like Cheltenham preview season, and Camellia de Cotte is one of those horses, and we did a live preview here that loads of people texted in asking about. Like, so is there an element of that? The hype about her and the unbeaten run could just drive the price down and really make Kaiser Black the value here.
Well, this is it, and the fact that he was 33-1 the last day, people might say it was a fluke. Now maybe it was a fluke, but everything looked right about it. And I didn't think
far
it was
better race than I think she's running.
Oh, the bag is just such a reliable mare. A far better race, and I'm inclined to believe the form. I think he'll be something around 7-4, 2-1. I'd be happy to back him at that.
Yeah, fair enough. Anywhere else on the Naas card? There's another you like here in the 4:20. This is a cracking handicap hurdle, by the way, Johnny.
Yeah, and, you mentioned a horse.
Yeah, I like West Coast Time here.
Bacardi's has been tipped up a fair bit at Cheltenham. West Coast would, of course, evoke memories of West Coast Cooler, which was my mother's favourite drink down the years. West Coast Time, on the other hand,
West Coast Time.
A very eye-catching run last time at Gowran. think, a track that he's won at before. Now
second is Stablemate Smoking Gun.
Yeah,
which is
again
pretty fitting as well. He won yesterday, but
he did win yesterday. He was very well backed. But I mean, what can we say about the horse at the bottom of the weights here? Trained by Gavin Cromwell.
I like the way you're thinking.
I like the way you're thinking. I thought it was extraordinary. I thought it was one of the most inept bits of shorting I've ever seen that he wasn't at least looked into in terms of his Fairy House performance last time. He finished 5th, yet he got £3 in the weights, which is very, very
Yeah,
unusual.
any horse to get a penalty outside the first 4.
He was also on that occasion behind Ming Dynasty, his stablemate, who bolted up at Naas since and then probably flopped again the last day. But this horse is 100% well handicapped. Niall Madden, who has the dubious distinction of sharing the same birthday as yours truly, takes the ride. I'm not sure Mark Wallet could do the weight on him.
No, 9:11.
But watch market moves relative to West Coast time as well. I'd be suspicious enough about a next kind of Magna or next Tabor-owned horse running against a JP horse that they might kind of know what's going on. But I do like this horse.
Like the way you're thinking against my West Coast time. Anything else for you in the Naas card, Juki?
Well, that McManus horse has a stone in hand. But,
Despite the £3.
That was fair low stuff now. But the 315, Mr. Blue Sky, this is another interesting race. He gets £6 and £3 from the 2 penalised horses, who are 2 smart horses and bring much better form to the party than he does. But he's a decent horse in the flat, mid-80s for Sylvester Kirk. Went to Willie Mullins, really impressed with him in Wexford. In a maiden hurdle that worked out reasonably well for a maiden hurdle at Wexford, but he looked a complete natural jumper.
Nothing wrong with Wexford now, Jim.
No, nothing wrong with it. Have to be careful here, Duke.
Just in the context of this race on Sunday. But I think it could be a Wexford springboard to glory, because he was a completely natural jumper. I don't know where he's been. Possibly ground, although he liked top of the ground in England, so I really don't know.
Was lobbing around in that deep gallop for the last couple of months.
Yeah, I'm going to hope that he's in good shape and he'll come on from the Wexford run, and if that's the case, he'll shake up the top 2 and you might get 5 or 6 to 1.
Yeah, Mr. Blue Sky for you there. Anything else nice for you?
I think that's it. Although, just to mention another horse that's running on Saturday at Gowran, a striking looking horse that I saw in Willie Mullins a few months ago. He's first run for, I think, over 1,000 days in the beginner's chase. And I think Willie's about 3 in it. Cat Wells, David Mullins rides. He's actually only 6. And despite the fact he hasn't run in 1,047 days. So he's obviously run as a 3-year-old in France. But he's a horse, I think, that has a little bit of hype behind him. He's obviously had problems which may or may not be ground related. You see these horses just run against each other now because they've run out of options. Keep an eye on him with a view to the future in the 4:15 at Gowran.
He'll turn up. Owner probably won't turn up. Anyway, let's get on to the best bets of the weekend. Then probably get one at Cheltenham included in your best bets of the weekend as well. So, James, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, I like Sandy Mount Duke in that handicap hurdle at Naas on Sunday, the 4:20. On Saturday, I am going to stick with the Imperial Cup and my selection in that. The Paul Nicholls trained runner, Malaya.
Yeah. And
then the best bet for Cheltenham, I've already given you one winner, so I'm going to give you Cali de Manil in the Coral Cup at a big, big price.
Coral Cup per Thames double. What more do you want?
Putting in the yards, you got to respect it.
Putting in the yard.
I'll tell you about him though. He was beaten by a short head by Dallas the Pictons, who's going to go off favourite for the Martin Pipe.
Who you're all over as well.
Yeah, so
I can't won't be beating Uradel if the Dell gets in there.
I think Uradel is going to get into one of these handicaps, but I just think Cali de Manil has a bit in hand on Uradel. Definitely at the weight. She's got in there off a lovely weight and she'll get the mare's allowance, so I think it could be hard beaten.
Right, Juki, best bets of the weekend and one for Cheltenham.
Well, I'm scratching around, Tom, so I'll just do a double with Mystic Dreamer in the 3 o'clock in Sandown and double her up with the King's Writ in the 4:45 at Sandown. And for Cheltenham, I'll give you 2 for the handicaps.
Okay.
Chittabello, who will get into the county hurdle with a massive chance. He's £8 lower than when he ran in the champion hurdle last year. First run off a wind up, which may or may not work, but can't do any harm. He just looks well handicapped. And I think he's a horse with stamina, and stamina on the new course at Cheltenham is a very valuable asset. And I think he's got really close, around 16 to 1. And a horse, if he gets in, I'm a bit worried having looked at the 5 days there today, but if Sky Pirate gets into the Kim Muir, again, he may be too well handicapped to get in, but if he can just sneak in,
That's the art, isn't it?
well, indeed, if he can just sneak in off 134, he's about 16 to 1 as well.
Good stuff, Johnny, for the weekend.
So the race at Gowran is the 3:05 at Gowran. That's from Eden, and then on Sunday, just to get my
Kaiser Black, you going with the
Kaiser Black in the. So what time
3:45.
3:45. I've done an each way 5-timer for Cheltenham, and I looked at this morning, and I actually can't see any of them being beaten. Like it's literally as simple as that.
Perfect.
And one of them is Epatons, so that at least I got a bit of good news on that.
The bad news for Honeysuckle is
Can
good
you guess
news for
the other
Epatons.
ones?
Sir Eric.
Sir Eric's
Blue Sari?
No, actually, they're all short enough prices.
Oh, sure enough. Okay.
The most obvious one, Altior.
Altior. Oh, okay, all right.
Tiger Roll?
No.
No.
Ballywords.
Ballyword, yeah, you're a big fan of Ballyword.
And the last one is the mayor
Benny
in
Did You.
Benny Did You. So none of them can be
Gone by.
Each way.
Gone by.
Is this an acre?
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, right. Okay, so the place part.
Yeah,
is
the
still
place
makes
is still.
Yeah,
But I'm not interested in the place. I'm
No.
just actually confident that they'll all win. It's
Great.
as simple as that. But Sir Eric, a little bit of a scare with the old stone brews.
Stone
Yeah.
Brews,
Yes.
yeah.
Anyway,
But he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Spoke to JPOB this morning. All good. The Knighted one will deliver glory on Friday.
good stuff. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time because everyone's at Cheltenham next week. So not
Except Juki.
Except Juki.
Yeah.
Me and Juki
I'll be
might
there
just
in
do our-
spirit.
Yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again in 2 weeks' time. See ya.